Welcome back to the Peptide of the Week podcast Q&A division. This is the first Q&A that Will and I will be doing. We are excited about it. For the first time just opened up the questions. We did not go through them. We want to have very organic, pure answers to these questions. And pretty stoked on some of the questions you guys asked. So it's starting off well. So I'm your host, JD Denham. Across the way is my business partner and buddy, Mr. William T. Haas. Welcome to the show, my friend. What's going on?
It's Friday, so that always makes me happy. I already worked out, so that's done, which is like the best part of the day, actually, after the end of the workout.
Always.
When it feels the best. But I don't know, dude. Life's good. It's hot outside. It's perfectly sunny, like it is always here.
Life is fun,
And
man.
these questions are cool. These are legitimate questions.
Yeah, we got some good followers, dude, that are obviously
Experience.
intrigued. They're intrigued and they're asking some good questions, man. I mean, peptides are blowing up for good reasons, man. I mean, so many people are intrigued by them. So just by these questions, you can tell that people are asking the right questions.
Yeah.
I'm excited. So yeah, this is our first Friday. Our goal is to record every Friday. Obviously, that will change sometimes because we are humans, and sometimes we're going to have to bob and weave around life. But every Friday, the plan is to record the Q&A, and we should be dropping it every Saturday after it's edited. And I think it's going to go great. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, and hopefully, like, people listen and understand the answers, and this helps them.
Yeah, man. Well, you're going to always have a lot of the same questions. I mean, I've got some inside viewpoint of that just because of DMs, but a lot of my content that I make these days are contingent upon, gosh, if I get 5 or 6 of the same questions, I make a reel on it. So this will be kind of similar, that people are asking this, certain types of questions, but now they have some direct contact to us to where we can answer some of the stuff if we miss them in a comment or DMs and whatnot. So I'm excited. This is going to be cool. So we will start off with, let me start off with the first one ever. Here we go, Will. Is it better to inject Reta, GLP-3, right, one time a week or twice a week with split dose? Great question.
All right, I will start. Well, as we know that all of these GLP-1s came out with the actual recommendation of doing one injection a week, okay? You see that a lot with other things that involve injections because it's more palatable for the normal person. They will use the drug more if they only have to inject themselves one time a week, right? Regardless if that is the best way to do it or not.
Yeah.
They will sell more product if people don't have to inject themselves. And I get it. Like, nobody likes stabbing themselves. Just basically through experience, man, I've seen it through experience, through thousands of people giving me feedback. It is better to do it more frequently. And we're not saying double the dose. I'm not saying, like, hey, do the same amount that you would in 1 week.
Microdose.
Now let's do it twice, right? No. So whatever you would do in in a week, right? Divide that by however many times. I generally say I think that 3 times a week is the best best way to go. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so I don't forget. If I say every other day, I will literally forget what I did yesterday. But if I set a schedule, and I guess that we came to that conclusion because we would hear from a lot of people. This is, starting back with semaglutide, right, and then into Tirzepatide and etc. People are saying, hey, I do my injection on a Monday. By Thursday, now I start getting some appetite back, right? So if we look at it as a graph, right, it's going to be the most. It's going to be in you the most. Usually, honestly, I feel like it peaks like the next day, and then it's going to rapidly kind of burn out of you over a few days. And so, also with Reta, like, it is burning fat. It is not just killing your appetite. It is burning fat, and therefore, why not have 7 days a week of burning fat rather than 4 days?
One big spike.
Right, one big spike. And so I would do it. I would split it. Also, for those, let's say the past ones, right? Semaglutide, Tirzepatide that made people nauseous. What do you think you'll be more nauseous of? A big dose
Oh man,
or
big
two or
dose of
three
semaglutide.
smaller
Oh,
doses, right?
oh.
Like it will help with your side effects, your nausea side effects, if you inject less amount and more frequently.
Yeah, so we're talking about GLP ones right now, right? But we've been talking about testosterone replacement for a long time, and anybody that's been in the game long as we have know that microdosing throughout the week is always going to do you better.
Yep.
Not everybody's going to get sick of pinning.
Yep.
It's going to be contingent upon but if you do it microdosing, you're going to keep those levels
Yep.
instead of one huge spike on Monday. Is it that big of a difference? It's not going to be that big of a difference, but the smarter way, the way it's going to work the best, which is everybody's goal to feel the best, for it to work the best, is to do it the best, proper way to get the best bang for your buck.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I
mean,
mean?
yeah. Especially with testosterone, especially with that, like we're really, really kind of modifying your hormones, right? Name of the game is level hormones because every hormone is predicated on another thing, So, like, hey, if you having estrogen problems, maybe and you're only injecting once a week, right? It's
Totally.
because you're boosting your
Big
testosterone.
spike.
Now your testosterone is spiking up your estrogen, and that's if we can even in the long esters, right? And this is and it's the same reason that like all doctors, well, in the U.S. prescribe Tirzepatide. All the doctors in Europe or in the rest of the world generally prescribe Enanthate. Both of them are long esters, and with an active half-life, it's debatable. Let's just call them 7 days. Those two esters are
Right.
like identical, so there's no real difference
Right.
those two. But at 7 days, right? Active half life. I'm not saying it's completely gone, but at 7 days up here, by day 7 is gone. We do not ever want to completely run out of hormone in your body, right? And so, even though you only really would say, hey, you really should go twice a week, the best option is to do every day. That will keep you that absolute.
And just so people know, you can
can.
microdose it every single day, right?
Yep.
I mean, you want to do it. It doesn't mean you want to like quadruple the dose
No.
of the week. You break it down, microdosed over, divided by 7, obviously, duh. But that would be probably the best. But who wants to pen 7 days a week? I mean, you can.
Right.
I don't want to pen. It's easy math, man. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We've talked with so many people at this point. People that start off doing it one time a week, right? Especially semaglutide. Oh God, man, a big dose of semaglutide. Oh, you're gonna not feel well after that shot, man. But Retatrutide in general, man. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I think will do anybody perfectly.
Yep.
Solid.
All right, I'll read the next one. Well, I don't know if we want to. How are you supposed to safely inject them? Go ahead. You want to give your little answer?
Up to you mainly is we're gonna do it. We're gonna pinch our fat. We're gonna poke that little guy right here, and that's the best way that it's gonna work for most people.
Yeah.
Sub-Q.
So sub-Q stands for subcutaneous, right? Like on our body, we have our dermis, which is our skin. Okay. Underneath that, we have this layer of water. So when people say I'm bloated, right, it's because they're retaining water in that layer of water, right? That's your subcutaneous. Like, and it is that can go up and down, but that's kind of what we're aiming for. Now your fat is your fat is right there. So if you basically some people have enough so much fat, right? You're not going to get it into just that water layer, okay? So they do say generally like around your belly button about somewhere around 2 inches away. So you grab a little bit further, but it doesn't matter, dude. You've been doing this for a long time, just fine and just safe. But yeah, pinch it, kind of pull it up, and so it makes a little gap, right? And you're shooting for that gap. What you don't want to do is not put the needle deep enough. If you get like a little welt, it's probably you didn't go deep enough. And It's pretty straightforward, dude. Like you might get a little bruise. Like if you hit a little,
Sometimes it's just going
like,
to happen. Like, and it's not going to happen on every time and every one. Just for some reason, you just might jab it a little differently.
yeah,
Sometimes you're just going to get a little poke and it might sting a little bit. That's what it
exactly.
is.
Yep. Don't
It
go
literally
so deep that it goes into your muscle. You don't want that, but that's your sub-Q layer. And look, your sub-Q, that can be done anywhere, right? If you have a different compound like BPC, you can pull right here and still put it in your sub-Q layer, right, in your elbow. But for the most part, right here, belly is the easiest way. It's just easy access for everybody to do it themselves.
especially if you're brand new and starting it off. And we live in a we live in a day and age where you can see a video on anything. Just go onto YouTube and just type it in. Somebody will show you how to do it.
Right. So yeah,
Very simple.
there's your answer. You can go find that.
What happens when you stop running Tesamorelin? Do you go back? Are peptides just short-term solutions? A few questions in that, but what happens when you stop running Tesamorelin?
So Tesamorelin is an HGH secretagogue, so it is telling your body to just through a complex different way, but it's telling your body to create more human growth hormones. So that is not a permanent effect. While your body is making more growth hormone, you are getting the benefits, right? You are able to build muscle a bit easier. Your metabolism is faster, right? It's going to help rejuvenate your skin a bit, right? It's going to help healing. Everything is going to heal better, and that is from a like microscopic terms in your skin and in your face, skin everywhere, to even if you have a wound and you cut yourself, you'll heal a little bit faster. When you stop taking Tesamorelin, your body will now start working the way it did before you started using the Tesamorelin. There is no, unlike testosterone or a lot of things that are actually introducing the real hormone. There is a letdown, right? If you do testosterone and then stop, you don't just go back to where you were before you started. You go back to negative,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Doing Tesamorelin is, most of these peptides, well, pretty much all the peptides. I can't think of any that you go negative, right? But you go back to where you were now. But it also doesn't mean all of those gains that you did get and all those benefits that occurred, you don't lose them. That muscle you gained, that fat you burned stays where it is.
As long as you keep eating right.
As long as you keep doing things the right way.
Right. The last part is what are peptides just short-term solutions? That's kind of contingent. I mean, solutions for what?
Yeah.
It depends.
Yeah.
You want the next one?
Oh, yeah, sure. Do you have information on dosage for DSIP? Yes, I guess we do. DSIP it stands for Delta Sleep Inducing Peptide. I would personally add 1 ml of water and inject 5 or 10 units about an hour before sleep. Okay, and that's what I would do. There's my dosing.
Same math would be, so he says 1 ml of water at 0.5, and I would do 2 ml of water at 10. Same math.
Same thing.
Same stuff. Same answer.
Those of you curious about that type of thing, like, oh no, do I need to add 2 mils of water and then
Right.
10, or should I split up because I only put 1? It's the same thing. There's no difference, guys.
Right.
It's however you want, dude. Whatever makes the math easiest for you.
Right.
Now, the only difference on that one is if you have something that's a really high dose, like let's call it NAD 1000, right? If you put 1 mil of water in, there's just too much of too much powder to actually mix. So as long as with the water you put in and it mixes perfectly clear, cool. Then it's just a math problem and you figure it out.
Yeah. What I try to do personally, just to keep it simple math in my head, I take a lot of different peptides, but I do the math to where I take 10 units. So I do the math in regards to how many mLs I add contingent upon what it would be to work out to take 10 units. Because then I just know I take 10 units of each one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You'll have to do the math, but there's different websites out there and the peptide research that this guy's talking about. I've seen it. So it has that stuff on there that can help you kind of figure out the math. That's what I do. It really keeps it simple for me. I do it to the degree where I take 10 units of everything.
Yep. That's smart.
Yep. How long should you run Retatrutide? Also, what happens when you stop? Good question.
All right, that's a very valid question. I think this is so new that there is no long-term data, although it's not very
I think
complex
18
on
months
how
is
it
really what they've been
works.
studying it, right?
Right.
18 months is what the data they have.
I think that doctors have been. I know people who have been on through a doctor's supervision, been on semaglutide, Tirzepatide for 4 years right now, right? So there's nothing that says. I mean, as far as I know, again, I'm not a doctor. I have seen people be on this long term. I personally think the best way to take this is to take it long enough to where you build good habits, right? Like the goal is to use this as a crutch, not a complete like motorized wheelchair.
Yeah.
But take it for a long time to where you get your results, right? The goal is to don't take as much as you can at the beginning, right? Let your tolerance work for you. Take a
Go slow.
goes a long way, right? You can slowly bump up. You'll save money that way too, but take it if you need to take it for 3-4 months, great, until you get to your goal. Awesome. If you need to take it for a year, okay, cool.
Yep. I
If
agree with that.
you, but then there comes a point in time where it's like, let's try to not take this, right?
Take a month off and see how your body adapts,
Right.
and then take it again. You're going to work a little better because you're
Right.
giving a little bit of time of a break.
But
know,
the main problem is on your metabolism. Our metabolism will speed up or slow down to the kind of amount of the calories that we're taking in. So if you are taking a lot and you're eating very, very little, your metabolism now is slowing down, okay?
Yep.
So now you've built your body to have a very slow metabolism. If you stop taking Threada and you all of a sudden get an appetite, and now you start eating 4 or 5
shit.
meals a day,
Yeah.
your metabolism is slow, and all that weight is going to come rushing back.
Right.
I mean, it's a classic like crash diet. So what I would say is, when you do come off, taper your way down, and maintain your good habits that you've learned. Right. Institute a little bit of no skills as Don't flood yourself with overwhelming hunger. Right. Let's just give yourself a little bit of hunger, incrementally, and practice being able to restrain yourself. And before you'll know it, just taper off. And before you know it, you'll be fine, and there will be no negative consequences.
Because here's the goal, right? Retatrutide, GLP-3 is the objective is not to take it so you can eat like shit, right? So like, just be smart. Like, this is a lifestyle that we're trying to generate. For example, like people that take testosterone replacement in longevity, right? You don't keep increasing it. You just learn to live you need to learn a sweet spot.
Yeah.
For me, I've said it numerous times, for me, it's 180 milligrams a week, and that works well for me, but there's a lot of trial and error that has come in that, right? So for people with Retatrutide, like, don't keep raising it so you can eat like shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, be smart. Like, the objective is to make a lifestyle to where you eat good and you start changing your habits, right? It's a crutch to help you. It'll burn fat. But again, it always goes with exercise and eating well.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that is hugely important. So, can I mix L-carnitine, Sermorelin, NAD, HCG, is a curveball, so I only have to do it in one injection? I think you and I might have a different answer on this. So you go first.
Well, so first problem. Well, so they are all water-based. You don't ever want to mix in the same syringe things that are like oil-based and water-based.
Ever.
Okay, that's dumb. They are all water-based. The issue is L-carnitine really needs to be injected intramuscularly. Okay,
Yeah.
so and deep intramuscularly. The others, I suppose, can. Hey, I know people HCG and NAD that inject them intramuscularly. I think they're better sub-Q. You got to think, if you're going to go sub-Q, you got to not put a whole bunch of liquid in you.
And L-carnitine is 1 mil, so that's going to
put
suck.
1 mil. That's a lot to put sub-Q.
Oh.
I don't think So the next part is, can you? I'm not quite sure. So they are theoretically, I don't think it's the best idea, but you could, because they're all water based. But some peptides, I've done this myself. I understand, dude. Whoever asked this, I'm with you. If I have 6 peptides I'm trying to inject, I don't really want to do 6 different injections.
Yeah.
I have plenty of times, just pull a little bit here, right? Bottle 2, bottle 1, and it's been perfect, right? Nothing has been. You just look at the dang syringe, and it should stay clear. Then all of a sudden, when I pulled one other peptide, boom! It just went cloudy, milky. It looked like there was like strands sitting in there. So, and I wish I knew and remembered exactly what that one peptide was that I pulled that did not do well with the others. But
Yeah.
not all of them will mix well with each other doing that. I guess the basis is, hey man, if you could still look at that syringe and it's perfectly clear, go ahead. But yeah, that concludes.
Here's my answer on that, because I've done quite a bit of research and just on my own self. First, I would never mix L-carnitine with anything. It's 1 mil, and I'm not mixing that in my stomach. I'm not hitting my stomach with that. No way.
No.
So I do L-carnitine. I kind of go off and on because it's just 1 mil of anything's a lot. So I go on and off with L-carnitine. Great peptide, just I don't mix it with anything. Sermorelin NAD, I definitely would. HCG probably not, because it's just such a different type of a peptide. I try to keep the peptides that are somewhat similar together. Now, Will was saying how he pulls a little on each. To me, that will dull the needle. So what I do, and I've done videos on my Instagram, I take an empty bottle, okay, empty bottle. If I'm doing 5 peptides, hypothetically, right, an empty bottle, I'm using the same syringe, pulling out 10 units in the bottle. 10 units in the bottle, 10 units in the bottle. So I'm not mixing them. So then I have 5, basically 50 units of 5 different peptides. Now I take a brand new needle, 1 shot, not a dulled needle, right? Sub-Q, 5 peptides, 1 shot.
That's good. Yeah, that's a good idea if you're a wuss and you can't handle just a little bit.
Touche.
So like that's a smart idea. The one thing to worry about, people, is a lot of these peptides are very fragile, right? This is why we don't mix them and shake them, right? This is why when you do add water, you aim that thing for the side glass and you just don't jam the water in.
Right.
Okay? So
That's a
when
good
you
point.
are drawing and squirting back in there, don't do that real fast, right? Don't draw and just squirt it in. Right, you kind of want to handle
Just draw out.
each peptide gently. So as you're putting it back in the bottle, just be gentle. Don't be rough with it. How much
Right.
difference that makes, I don't know, but that's what it says on paper. That
Right.
that's why we don't shake them, etc.
All right, I'm a 54-year-old on TRT. I have been reading up on Sermorelin. Do you think it's a good peptide to aid the TRT? Good question. Yeah, I do. I think Sermorelin's great. I think, TRT, most men, my experience with TRT, and I talk about it often, I have had a lot of experience, well, so has Will, with just working with men over 40. And this is no joke. 90% of the men that were not on TRT, when I had them get their blood work, are under 300 testosterone. Literally, 90%. That is a very, very big problem. So TRT is huge, and that alone is awesome. It's going to change your life if you are not on testosterone replacement at 54. Should you add Sermorelin? Absolutely. It's a secretagogue. I would suggest you take it at nighttime. But I think they would go perfectly together. I mean, I take HGH preferably and testosterone replacement. Me personally, so how I answer that is my 2 that are in my arsenal, no matter what, testosterone replacement and human growth hormone. 2 IUs of human growth hormone in the morning and testosterone replacement are always in my arsenal.
Yep. I say, okay, would it aid the TRT? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. You hear people throw these things around, these words, acronyms, TRT, HRT, right? TRT is testosterone. That means you are taking testosterone at a low dose for a long time to help your natural testosterone, right? To supplement it. HRT is hormone replacement therapy, okay? That generally is referring to taking testosterone and HGH. So that's a common practice amongst doctors, is to prescribe those 2 together.
Right.
Sermorelin is the natural way to boost your growth hormone levels instead of the actual real thing. So,
Yeah.
yep, I think so. That will help. I still am of the opinion that if you're going to take an HGH secretagogue, you need to be taking both
Yeah.
GHRH and a GHRP together. Okay, they will work synergistically together and really help your natural growth hormone. And GHRH, growth hormone releasing peptide. Those are the two differences. You can just easily look them up and see which ones are which ones. But taking one of each together, you'll see blends, right? Tesamorelin, Ipamorelin, CJC,
Ipamorelin.
right? Those come in blends because there's a reason they come in blends, right?
Right. They go well
That's the
together.
way to do it. So now, um, yeah, that's all I got. I think so. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. It's gonna be a lot better. But even just taking Sermorelin and TRT is absolutely better
It
than
works. Can you do it? Should you do it?
taking
Sure.
Sermorelin. Yeah,
Yep.
do it up.
Absolutely. Go for it.
Okay, I will like to burn fat and not lose muscle. Should I start on MOTS-C and 5 amino 1MQ or go with just GLP-3? I'm trying to maintain my muscle mass. It cuts off, but I get the point. They want to not
Yeah.
lose
That's a good
muscle.
one. This is a good one. This is a good one. Go. You want me to take it?
Yeah, start off.
I mean, so first and foremost, peptides are not steroids, right? If you're trying to gain muscle, they're not going to do the best at gaining muscle. My opinion in gaining muscle is eat food.
Yeah.
If you want to gain muscle, and you don't want to do any even TRT or any type of gear, which I would never recommend anyway. I'm just saying, you want to eat food, eat a lot of food, work out, eat food. Creatine HCl is my favorite. Monohydrate is probably the most popular, but those would work really well, in my opinion, in regards to, I think, personally better than peptides for gaining muscle. The 5MQ and the GLP-3 specifically are burning fat. So those aren't going to make you gain muscle.
Right.
Peptide. What would you say?
Well, I think that they said, hey, look, I want to burn fat, but I just do not want to lose any muscle at all. And should you do that? Here's the deal. The GLP-1s, GLP-1, GLP-2T, GLP-1S, GLP-2T, GLP-3R. They've all got kind of a bad rap, and because you hear people be like, "Oh, well, that one makes your hair fall out. That one makes your eyesight go bad. That one makes your muscles bad. Oh, that one makes you lose all your muscle." Well,
Right.
here the truth is, so the compounds, the drugs are not doing that to you. Okay,
Right.
it's not. They are not actively like deteriorating your body. What's happening is you are being malnourished from food, right? You're not eating enough
That's a problem.
nutrients to keep your tissue, to keep your eyes and bone and muscle intact. Okay, this is what happens when you starve yourself. Right, our bodies start deteriorating. That's why we get hungry. Right, our bodies are meant to eat food.
Oh, malnutrition.
It's called malnutrition. Right. So what you had GLP-3, the great thing about it is you are not nauseous. You actually have an appetite. All it is it's doing other things than burning fat, but as far as the appetite reduction, it is slowing your gastric emptying, okay, which makes you feel fuller faster, okay? You still have a great appetite. That's beautiful because you need to be eating to maintain your muscle and burn fat. You need to be eating protein, okay? And protein, folks, that's the only thing that's going to keep your muscle. So, while on GLP-3, if you eat enough protein, right, and eat enough protein, you will not lose muscle. Great. There's other factors that go into how you can not lose muscles based on your exercise habits. If you are, but I suppose people on that, it does really help reduce appetite, right? It does help you not eat a lot, right? There's a better chance that you're going to end up not eating enough and therefore losing muscle on the GLP-3 than on MOTS-c and 5-amino-1-MQ.
Sure.
A better chance. I think GLP-3 is friggin' miracle, and like it will work. You just got to make sure that you're continuing to eat and getting your protein intake. You know,
Yeah.
if you're a man, I mean, depends on how much this person weighs, but
Yeah.
there's different thoughts. But I think that a man who is actively lifting weights needs to be eating at least their pounds in at least 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight. I think if you're trying to gain some muscle, you should be eating 1.5 grams per 1 pound.
Agreed.
So if we're really concerned about that, you know, that doesn't have to happen with GLP-3, but the MOTS-c 5-amino-1-MQ is probably the safer approach. There's also other really good
It's
ones.
also how much are you trying to? How much do you weigh? How much weight do you need? I mean, it's kind of a big question, but it's all contingent upon your body's what you look like and where you're at.
And just the protein you eat. So, yeah, you can totally burn tons of fat and not lose any muscle on GLP-3.
Yeah. I mean, dude, we've talked about it numerous times. GLP-3 is a goddamn
and I wouldn't
scientific
say
breakthrough,
that,
man.
and I wouldn't say that about GLP-1 or GLP-2
No.
because those things just make you nauseous and you can't eat enough. You just can't.
That's why it throws curveballs at the people that start with those two, because then they actually get an appetite and they think it's not working. It's a mind.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, people go there, they start taking GLP-3 like this stuff doesn't work. This stuff sucks.
Yeah,
I actually want to eat food.
Which actually you can actually enjoy food because you have an appetite again, you know, which goes into the next one. So this is a perfect little segue into this question. So I've been on Tirzepatide for 5 months. Watching your Instagram channel, I learned about Retatrutide. How long should I wait to change over? It's a good question because we've worked with a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. So you want to take the reins on this?
I think you should wait until you. I wouldn't wait. In fact, I was going to say I would wait until that Tirzepatide bottle is gone, and then I would start GLP-3 as soon as you possibly can. But we've actually worked with tons of people, and I've seen this happen, and they will take both of them simultaneously. You know, I wouldn't take the same amount of Tirzepatide you're taking and then add just double the amount of Retatrutide, but kind of cut both of them in half. You know, and just work your way until that bottle of Tirzepatide is gone, and then you're back up to a regular dose of Retatrutide. I think that there is absolutely no reason to be taking Tirzepatide when you can be taking Retatrutide. So get over to it as soon as freaking possible.
Yeah, and that's kind of a question that we worked with just different people in a lot of different ways. Personally, the Tirzepatide, as we've stated numerous times, even on this podcast today, Retatrutide is just superior product. It's just a better product, right, for numerous reasons. But you should taper down on the Tirzepatide, right? You're still using it, so taper down. Don't keep the same dose and the Retatrutide, in my opinion. So taper down maybe cut the Tirzepatide in half, and then start with like 5 units or like maybe 5 units of the Retatrutide, and slowly start to transition.
Yeah.
And I've done that with a lot of people, and that has worked well.
Yeah. And I don't know, guys. Maybe I should restate this disclaimer. Like, you do whatever you want. Y'all are all grown people. We're just kind of telling you what my opinion is. We are not doctors and at all qualified to be giving you advice that you should follow. We're just telling you our experience and what our opinions are.
Do that.
These random ass questions.
Do that. Looks like, do we have any more?
You shouldn't mix with other peptides. Like if you were only trying to take one shot in the morning, one of my shots had turned hazy when I added one extra peptide to the mix. So that question was basically answered.
Yeah.
Asked and answered, which and it's a valid question, dude. Like we've talked about what we also have tried to experiment with that. Right. And I wish I had a better answer of telling you like, well, this exact peptide, right, does not mix with that one. It's I think if they're all water-based and if they're all going to the same place and you go ahead and mix them, but sometimes it is certain peptides will go mix in there and then just turn that syringe looking hazy. I've injected that too. I'd say that, look, dude, I don't know, you probably safer off just maybe squirting it out. What have you lost? You lost, 5 units of one of your peptides, and you've learned that one peptide is the one that you shouldn't mix with everything else.
What you just said, though, what you just said is so important, Will. What you just said is I learned. And how do you learn? You learn by trying this stuff, right? You know, we've been doing in supplementation for all kinds of supplements, you know, creatine. Why do I know that I like HCl better than monohydrate? Because I've done them both.
Right.
You know what I mean? My answer to that question for you guys is I try to keep the ones that are similar together. Like I'll do a secretagogue and HGH together because they are similar. I won't do like HGH and HCG because they're different. So I don't mix those ones. And that's just kind of the rule of thumb that I personally use. I'll mix the ones that are somewhat similar and have the same effects. I don't mix the ones like I don't mix Retatrutide and HGH personally. So that's what I do.
Yep. That's it. That is it for the questions. But I guess I did want to, the guy who asked about Sermorelin on top of TRT, just to be clear, like, nope, with this, we're not talking about the Sermorelin being a good replacement for testosterone, right? There are no peptides that do all of the wonderful things that testosterone does.
Yeah, like if you're talking about replacing it, no way.
Yeah, no. But for sure as an add-on, 100%, but testosterone is just the natural. Sorry, guys, this is like kind of what men are made out of, and it does so many dang good things for us. There is nothing out there that is replacing that.
Well, I mean, that's good to end on this because we've said it so many times. But if anybody, they're brand new to the podcast, you're not going to get the benefits out of the peptides that you can until you are hormonally optimized, meaning your hormones are in the right levels. Like if you have super low testosterone, it doesn't matter really what peptide you take, man. It's not going to do that well. You got to get your hormones in line. And how do you know? You go get them tested. Yeah. Go to a doctor and have your blood work done.
Yeah. No doubt.
You need to start there. If you're older, and in my opinion, again, just an opinion, anybody, gosh, did I say 40 now? But dude, with the shitty food we eat, I've seen 35-year-olds have super low testosterone. But just go to the doctor and get your blood work done. Free testosterone, estrogen, testosterone. I mean, just get your levels looked at. And then at the very least, you can make an educated decision because you know where your levels are at. Nobody's going to tell you what you should or shouldn't do. But if you don't know where your levels are at, you definitely don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Simple math. Yeah. So, man, I enjoyed it, man. That was cool. I enjoyed it. So the first Q&A, that's cool. I enjoyed it. We're going to be releasing this tomorrow. We'll do some little clips as well on all the channels. But anything you want to tell us before we close out here, buddy?
No, dude. I hope people were listening, and I hope it actually helped. Hope this answered the questions for more than just those people who asked them.
Yeah, man, those are great questions, man. Those are great. I thought they were great.
Right. Bring it more, and all we can do is kind of give you our experience, which we have a lot of.
One of my favorite dudes that always just when I'd ask him certain questions, he'd say, you always get the answer you get is based upon your question. So for the people that ever ask us, what should I take? We don't know you, so don't ask that.
Right. When I say, what's your goals? And you say, to gain the most amount of muscle and burn the most amount of fat in the shortest amount of time. Not an acceptable answer.
No
shit. Like, duh.
Right.
That's not helpful.
Right.
So
those were great articulate questions, man. So that was a good start. So good stuff, my brother. Well, cool. We will be dropping the peptide of the week next week. So that's the next thing. We'll be dropping this tomorrow, and then next the peptide of the week, and then we'll do this every Friday. So give us some feedback, man. Shoot me a DM on any of the channels that we have out there. Let me know if you like it. And that's it, my friends. Signing off.
Cool.
Catch you next time.
Later.